Hello and welcome to Education Corner. I'm your host, Dustin Latimer. We're highlighting local school districts, showing off some of the unique programs, classes, and clubs that make them, well, them. It's the stories you don't see and the things you may not know unless you're part of it. Today, we're heading to Neodesha, home of the Blue Streaks. We begin with the newest addition to USD 461, the Early Learning Center. A project that was years in the making gives the school district a much-needed place for the little ones. Here's a look at the facility. The newest facility to open at Neodesha schools is the Early Learning Center.
We've been open for just a little over a year. It was a year in August. We have spots for 100 kiddos. The process was about 7 years in the works. The building went up within the year, and we have about 57 kiddos enrolled right now. We can take ages 2 weeks until 5 years old.
The much-needed facility came at no cost to the school district thanks to some hard work by Superintendent Juanita Erickson.
So the whole building was paid for by grants. Mrs. Juanita Erickson laid all the legwork for the grants. Everything went up. Staff was paid for with grants. My salary was paid for with grants. All the furniture was grant. The process now, our tuition coming in is what's paying for our staff at the moment.
Staff say the Early Learning Center has become an important part of USD 461 and the town of Neodesha.
There's not a lot of care, quality care for children aged 2 weeks to 5 years old. We have a lot of home daycares, which are fantastic. There's no big early learning center. We have curriculum that we follow. We have KDHE requirements that we follow. Our staff are well trained. It's just a safe place for these kiddos to grow and learn.
It's not just a place for kids. The Early Learning Center is also creating jobs for those in the community.
I just moved out here from California about 2 years ago, where daycares were everywhere, early learning centers were on every corner. I worked at KinderCare for a while, which it was literally on every corner in town. When we moved out here, I didn't know what I was going to do for work because we didn't have an opportunity like this. So in this small town, it's really big.
Learning begins immediately with curriculum designed for the younger age groups.
We start our structure in the infant room. We start our curriculum there. We follow Frog Street curriculum. It works with them up until they're in our pre-K room, which is our 4 to 5 year olds. They're sitting for a circle. They're learning how to play with their friends. They are practicing social emotional skills. They're learning how to share. They're learning how to keep their hands to themselves, which really sets them up for kindergarten, where they're going to be expected to do that all day long.
At the Early Learning Center, children are paired with others the same age.
So we have classrooms full of kiddos that are all the same age. When you go to a typical daycare, you can have mixed age groups. So you can have an infant with a 10-year-old. Here you have a classroom of 12 with all 4-year-olds. You have a classroom of 14 with all 2-year-olds. So they're learning how to be with their age groups and learning from children their age.
And thanks to new technology, parents can check in on their little ones.
It gives them a safe place to come, grow, learn how to become their own little humans. It gives parents a safe place to bring their children. We use Brightwheel as a communication app as well, so parents can see pictures of their kiddos throughout the day. We log every diaper they have, every meal they eat, nap time, so it gives parents that peace of mind as well, knowing that they can see a snapshot of their child's day when they're at work.
A program that takes place after most kids go home gives a group of elementary students a couple extra hours of learning and a safe place while parents may still be at work. Here's a look at what takes place after school at Neodesha. Each day after school, around 70 students stay after the last bell rings. And no, it's not a punishment. These kids are participating in the after-school program.
We have different components that we do. We start off with giving them snack, then we have some study hall, some exercise, so either a game or free play depending on which day it is. Then we do an enrichment exercise. These guys are going to be doing some coding and drones, and Heller right now is doing some magnetic coding and some like connects blocks and stuff like that.
The program gives 4th through 6th grade students the opportunity to continue learning.
It is important because, first of all, it extends the students' learning. It gives them a safe place to be after school when their parents are still working. It allows the parents to be involved in the school on a different level. And the students, they learn about their community and different things, and they learn about just not academic pieces, but pieces that can enrich their learning, like the STEM pieces.
The after-school program also gets kids outside for physical exercise. They also exercise their brain with unique activities.
First of all, they get a lot of activity, physical activity, but then we do a lot with STEM. We are doing a lot with coding and drones, and we do art in different ways that they can use math. We're looking at adding a cooking component for next year, and we're hoping to connect with some places in Independence for field trips and some enrichment, because they have some pretty good things going on over there.
The after-school program is available Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 5:30, providing a safe place for kids to be after school while parents may still be at work.
All of the kiddos know their teachers because they work with most of them through the days. We do have some high school students that come over, and they work on their community service hours, but they also get paid a rate. So it's split between those, and the kids build those relationships with the workers here. And we've had a couple kiddos tell us, things that, they're worried about and that they're needing help with. And we've worked with the community through the social workers at the school and some other people to try to get some of those things resolved. But they know that all the adults are safe people that they can talk to, and they know that this is a place that they can be so they're not getting in trouble.
Students at Neodesha's North Lawn Elementary are getting a lesson in nature. As part of the after-school program, the Wild Club gives kids a chance to think outside the box and outside the classroom by using critical thinking skills in some wild situations.
It's lots of fun, and they get to experience things that they maybe wouldn't.
North Lawn Elementary Principal Shelley Charter says the Wild Club gives 4th through 6th grade students a chance to get out and enjoy Mother Nature.
We will be doing archery next month. We take the kids fishing. We've had the K-State office come down and do some fun we did a soil experiment last week. So we do a camp out at the end of the year. They stay all night, and that really made me nervous the first year, but we had a great time. It was lots of fun. So I would say it's because it's fun and educational.
The Wild Club pairs with the After School Program, or ASP. Once a month, around 60 kids participate in special outdoor activities. Baiting
a hook, catching a fish, watching some of the kids catch fish for the first time was just, it was priceless. And it's good because community members come in and will help us with the activities, so they get to see, kind of what's going on in the schools as well.
The kids are allowed to bring their own fishing equipment. A lot of them like to bring that from their experience and be able to show other kids. But we also worked with the Kansas Wildlife and Fisheries, and they have provided us poles the last few years. However, it's not a standard pole with a reel. It is like an extending pole that does not have a cast release. The kids have just a string on the end of a pole, just like they did in the old days. And a lot of them will come to me and be like, what do I do with this? I'm like, you have to figure it out. So it's a lot of like problem solving, especially same thing like when we do our camp out, or we've done like a tent sit-up competition and had people volunteer their tents. We kind of like step back and let them solve those problems on their own. Like, okay, what would need to happen first? How does the frame need to look? How are you going to cast this to try to get a fish? Just a lot of those problem solving skills that don't always happen besides our paper pencil tasks where they're problem solving. It gets them beyond a paper pencil experience.
Wild Club sponsors say the program gives kids a chance to solve problems they might encounter outside the classroom, and no phones allowed.
Our critical thinking skills are not always as strong in this day and age because kids are behind a screen a lot of times. So we do have them checking their phones. Those are not with them. Like, it's truly just a in-the-moment experience. And that's our desire as a district, is to start moving, not relying so much on technology and giving them those in-person experiences.
A student-ran store gives those in high school the opportunity to show off their creative abilities and learn what it takes to operate a business. Inside the Streakin' Shop, students aim to represent their school and provide the community with items that they'll love. At the high school, you'll find a student-ran store called Streakin' Shop.
Right now, students during lunch period, they can come in, students or staff members can come in, they can look at the merchandise that we have.
For Blue Streaks fans, Streak and Shop is your go-to source for stylish, comfortable Blue Streak apparel.
There's a lot of general designs that are in this shop. There's probably at least 10 different designs right now, probably more. But we do a lot of custom orders through cheer, both middle school and high school, basketball warm-ups, football warm-ups and jerseys, just different things like that, and graduation announcements.
All of the designs are created by students.
It's very fun. I'll see people walking around with something I'll design and I'll think to myself, oh my gosh, they're wearing the shirt that I did. It's just very fun to see the product actually be liked by the customers.
If you can't find what you're looking for in the store, you can always go online.
If there's something that we don't have in stock or in our store, you can just email on our Facebook or email one of the teachers, or just get in contact with us that way, and then one of our students can design that for you. So I think that's really cool.
Working at the store helps prepare students for life after high school.
If I'm wanting to run my own business, I also have to have a grasp on how to price certain things, and actually being able to price the items and see the income versus how much it costs to make it is really helpful.
I want to pursue a degree in business. I want to major in executive business. So I think this store and what we do here really helps me with that and kind of prepares me for beyond college.
The goal of Streak and Shop is to give students a creative outlet while providing some on-the-job training.
I've learned a lot about just the works of design. We use Photoshop, so I've got the privilege to learn a lot about that. But this is my first year kind of on the business side of things, and I've learned a lot that I didn't even know that I needed, helpful things like I count cash every day, which got me so much better at numbers. I count inventory. It's just a lot of great skills that you don't really know that you need until you actually work on them.
It's a promise made from one generation of Neodesha High School graduates to another. That promise gives Neodesha High School graduates the opportunity to continue their education without the burden of a big tuition bill. For the last 6 years, the Neodesha Promise Scholarship Program has helped remove barriers for kids looking to go to college.
The Neodesha Promise Program was founded in November of 2019, and since then has had 184 Neodesha Promise recipients and sent just over $1.5 million in scholarship funds in the last almost 6 years.
It guarantees to pay for tuition and fees for qualified graduates of Neodesha schools.
It is an absolutely life-changing opportunity for our students, and I think not only for our students but for our community as well, to be able to say that we have the Neodesha Promise program and to see what it has done for our students. We have a couple of students that are in doctorate programs. We have one student pursuing her master's, and multiple students who have said that they would have never pursued a post-secondary education with the fear of the amount of debt that can happen if it was not for the Promise program. So we've had many students reach out to us about that, as well as their parents, saying that it's just life-changing.
We don't have to carry that financial burden of how are we going to afford college? Well, I can't go to college because I don't have that financial stability, but with the Promise, it lets us have that future.
But what students with the Promise Scholarship Program get is more than just dollars and cents. They also get guidance long after they've graduated high school.
We are one of now 2 schools in the state of Kansas that have that position that follows students from second semester of their senior year throughout their post-secondary education. So we walk them through the entire post-secondary process, enrolling in classes, what that looks like. You're struggling in classes, what can you do to be a more successful post-secondary student? Having all those conversations with them and really helping them navigate that process is huge. A lot of our students are first-generation students, so they don't have a parent who completed a post-secondary bachelor's degree, and so being able to have that resource, I think, is very beneficial for them.
You might have kids who their parents didn't go to school, they had no dream of ever going to college, but hey, you graduated, I'm sorry, bye. With the development of the Promise, but really having Rebecca as that academic coach to follow them, that barrier is gone. So I think that has been a huge benefit to having the Promise, because it's not just, hey, you can go to college. It's, hey, you can go to college, and we're going to get you there. So I think seeing students not have to worry about how do I do any of this, taking that away from parents, that we didn't go to college, we're not sure how to get you there, I think has been life-changing.
It lets us have that dream and goal after high school. And with our resources here, like Rebecca and Valen, we get to have a path and resources to help us set that goal and help us reach that goal after high school.
We have this opportunity to really provide intentional advising, intrusive advising with our students to help them navigate that post-secondary world. So I think, again, the scholarship is extremely beneficial for our students, but we're able to provide so much one-on-one support since we are a smaller school district that I think it's a huge benefit.
That guidance gives students a realistic look at their future.
We used to, at the very beginning, have a lot of students who wanted to go straight to a four-year. You hear, oh my gosh, I'm getting my college tuition paid for, I'm going to KU, I'm going to K-State. And with the promise, it has allowed Rebecca and I to maybe have more realistic conversations about what are you ready for? And we've really seen a shift of students going straight to a four-year to students going to a two-year first and then moving on to the four-year and really setting them up for success.
Each year, the money available through the scholarship program continues to grow, thanks to support from the community.
I think it's very exciting for the community. I know it's a benefit for the children and for those that want to go on and further their education. And so I think it's great that people have chosen to come back to their hometown and give back so much. The amount of money they've already given is tremendous.
Before graduation, a program at the high school level gives students the opportunity to try their hand at different careers. One of those students had an interest in teaching. Thanks to the Career and Technical Education program, she got to see firsthand what it takes to teach. Neodesha senior Dahlia Johnson has considered a career in education. Thanks to the Career and Technology Education program, Johnson is able to experience life as a teacher long before graduation.
I have been able to assess them on field trips, any projects. I've got to teach a few lessons, that's for English. There are science classes. I've got to bring in my own hermit crabs to teach a lesson. I get to interact with the kids. I get to grade papers, and I just get like an insight on how it is teaching at that level.
The program allows Johnson to go to North Lawn Elementary, where she's partnered with a 5th grade teacher.
I get to see exactly what she gets to deal with 24/7, from the beginning of the day to actively teaching a lesson. I get to just get the full inspo on how the kids react. And then I also she has a lot of lower kids, so I get to be taught how to interact and how different teaching mechanisms can be taught to those levels, how you can approach different students and how they learn.
For those unsure about what they want to do after high school, the Career and Technical Education program at Neodesha helps students narrow down their choices.
One of the things I think is really awesome is to see students in junior high talking about what they want to do, and then by the time they get to high school, they're able to make more educated decisions. So then by the time they're a senior, there's really no question of what they're going to do.
It definitely gives me an advantage. I actually started at the beginning of the year. I was wanting to go into education. I'm not saying that this program kind of, leaned me towards a different path, but it gave me just a full look at how teaching can be and the reality of it. I have switched my major now to medical sonography, ultrasound technician, not because of being able to get that reality check, but I would say it has helped.
Along with the Promise Scholarship, having the Career and Technical Education program has given Johnson a clearer path toward her future.
I come from a lot of teachers, a lot of administrators in my family, and seeing them in that aspect has definitely made me more sure of what I want to do. And having the promise, it's helped me overall make those decisions on financially and then just overall with what I want to do after high school.
Well, that will do it for this episode of Education Corner. Thank you for joining us on our tour of the Neodesha School District, where youngsters get a head start with early learning, where educators make good on a promise that gets students through college. These are just some of the stories that make up that Blue Streak's pride. Until next time, because education is always right around the corner.